Hey guys, I just wanted to jump on here very quickly and just go over the expectations for the plan of action discussion forum. It's due by this evening, and so I wanted to just kind of touch base with you guys, talk about a little of these questions, and just kind of reassure you if you're struggling with this project. So this plan of action is going to be used as kind of like your outline or even um, another brainstorming activity. My son's right beside me having lunch, so you're going to hear him. Uh, anyways, this is something that can go towards your statement of goals and choices. So the more work that you put into brainstorming and thinking about these things, the more content you'll have for your statement of goals and choices at the end of this project when you're ready to submit. So first off, you're going to start by thinking about the central question that's driving your podcast episode. So this is going to be the question that you developed as a result of that brainstorm activity we had last week. Maybe you were able to narrow down a question or get some feedback from a classmate, or maybe you came up with a new idea after reading what some of your classmates were thinking about doing. You want to get this question as specific as possible. It's going to be what drives your research, right? So you want to make sure that you have a clear question. I know. And you don't want it to be something vague or abstract. So secondly, think about, why does this question interest you? Where is there tension or conflict? So it doesn't have to be dramatic tension. It can be very nuanced, very simple. For example, if you're talking about, this, I've seen a lot of people are curious about why people are not listening to the social distancing guidelines. There might be some conflict there, right? Some tension between two different parties over those who are advocates for social distancing and those who think that it's ridiculous, right? So think about who would be interested in this question. So kind of a rhetorical move, you go back to rhetorical analysis. Who's the audience, right? What's the rhetorical situation? What's your purpose? What's the exigency? What sparked this interest in this question? And then there might be some sub-questions that exploring this question entails, right? There might be some smaller questions within the big question. Then you're going to think about who you interview, why these people, how are you going to interview them, and think about how you're going to contact them, where you're going to interview, and so I understand that there's an issue here when it comes to interviews. We are not in the ideal circumstance for interviews. You are required to interview 2 people. However, due to our current situation of, being on a recommendation to quarantine and to maintain social distancing, are you okay? I will be okay if you only interview 1 person. Now, don't use it as an excuse to not interview more than 1 person if you're able to. However, I will understand if you're going to have issues getting to 2 people. Now, I really want you guys to think about, first off, who's most accessible to you for an interview. This might be you interviewing a spouse or a friend a roommate even, maybe another family member that you live with. Also think about the accessibility we have to technology. You can most definitely interview people via phone, via Zoom, Skype, whatever you prefer, FaceTime. My only recommendation is that you find a way to record your interview so that you have audio to use in your podcast. If that's not an option for you guys, you are more than welcome to have someone answer questions through email or even text message, or record answers via phone, and then maybe have someone you live with read off the answers or the responses to your interview questions. So those are just kind of some alternatives that I wanted to offer you guys for interviews. And then fourthly, what kind of sources... we're eating lunch over here, so... You okay? what kind of sources are you planning to use other than interviews? So again, because of the situation, this might be limited. You might have a book at the library you're thinking about checking out, or even some document delivery resources that are now unavailable. So be creative here. Try to find different sources through the databases that are accessible via the library website. You can also look at social media posts. There, especially if you're interested in COVID stuff or social distancing, isolation stuff, there's probably tons of stuff out there on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and you can look at these posts and think about a recent trend that you're seeing, or an issue, right? And then talk about why did you pick these sources. If the reason is I had no other options because the library is closed, that's a-okay. That is a justifiable reason, right? And then I want you to think about, finally, why is this your plan? So how is the combination of all these things, your interviews, your secondary research, going to help you achieve your goals and explore your research question for your podcast, okay? So just to kind of a gauge, a good starting exploration of these would be 4 to 500 words. It can be more, it can be less. Again, the more in depth you get with them now, the more content you're going to have for that final statement of goals and choices. And then please, please do not forget that you're going to respond to at least 2 classmates and help make suggestions for them to revise their plan of action. So you can suggest maybe how they can refine their question, make it more specific or narrow it down. Maybe offer up some sub-questions to kind of guide their research. Maybe offer interviews. I will allow you guys to interview each other. So if there's something you feel like, hey, I could offer up a lot of good feedback for that question, feel free to put it out there that you are available for an interview if that's something that you'd like. And then maybe even you have secondary sources for them. Maybe you've been seeing stuff on the internet, or you've been kind of engaging in different research on your own, and you're able to offer up a source for them. Okay, so here, just think about these things. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I am available to offer whatever help I can. If you have a question about whether or not your interviewee is okay or your question's okay, again, please just reach out to me. All right, guys, so just keep on keeping on. We're going to get through this one day at a time. And again, if you need anything, let me know.